Yeah. Tell me what got going on that day. Yeah. Yo, if I were podcasting, it would be insane. Knowledge flowing like the sweetest rain. Professor Bear on the mic, spreading wisdom wide. The best thoughts, that's my pride, can't hide.
With the voices in your ear, changing the game.
If I rule podcasting, every thought we'd ignite. In a world of chatter, we'll spark in the fight. With Professor Bear, we're climbing to new heights. A best thoughts podcast, shining bright in the night. Topics from the heart, never sounding the same. Got laughs and debates, never dull or bland. From culture to tech, take you by the hand. Join the ride with us, feel the vibe expand. With every episode, we shine that beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul. So tune in, don't miss what we got to share. If I rule podcasting, I spread the love everywhere.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me this evening. I am Professor Bear, and this is A Bear's Thought. And guys, girls, 2026 has been such an amazing run, and it's just getting started. I've had a great time talking to my guest on this great wrestling Podcasters Appreciation Month. And this guest is one of my brothers in the WSN family. Me and him, funny enough, met him in a place that I didn't even know he was going to be there. And I was shocked because a particular match he was having, another wrestler saw me and threw something at me. I will never, ever forget that, AJ Kazana. But this is someone I truly have the honor of calling my friend, my brother, and one hell of a professional wrestler. This is Brox Boulder. Brox, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great, brother. How are you, man? That was awesome. Thank you. Listen, the music, man, I'm vibing. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm vibing. I was with it, brother. I was with it. I love it.
You know, what's so funny about it is everybody who has heard that music, they're like, that's real good. That's real good. Then I get people like, man, it's good, but it's too long. Put it at the back because then people can listen to it. I'm like, look, when the show is over, how many people actually stay and listen to the music?
Nope. None,
so,
man. That's it.
I'm keeping it in the front. Now, I may shorten it, but I'm keeping it in the front.
Man, you set that vibe. You set the vibe. I wouldn't do a daggone thing with it. It sets the vibe for me. Like I told you, we'd be hyped. That got me hyped. That music. Listen, that's why I play the Grappling Inc. theme song in the beginning of my stuff, man. It's just it gets me hyped. Like I'll stand behind a curtain hearing that, and I'm ready to go kick somebody's rear end. I can sit in a podcasting chair and do the same thing. Music sets the tone. You leave it around where it's at, brother. It's awesome.
Thank you. So, as I always do, I always ask this question of my guest first time: is what got you into wrestling?
Ooh, man, I the generic answer is, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, I was born a redneck, raised a redneck, still a redneck, with a little flavor at the same time. And wrestling for me in the Appalachians is I've always felt like that Appalachian wrestling is kind of a home base for all of wrestling. Some of the best wrestling has come from our area. That's what I truly believe. Um, so it was just kind of in my blood. And of course, I got older and stopped watching it, but always thought, it's cool. I still want to watch it. Brady, my dog. What's up, Brady? More fam, more fam. Um, yeah, yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it, Mikey. Let's get it. I'm for president. But yeah, I got out of it, stopped watching it, and then a school opened up 4 minutes from my house. There was a buddy I had that was in the business, and I'd play basketball with him a couple times a week, and I always told him, man, I think I can do it. I can wrestle. I could do it. And he was like, put your money where your mouth is. There's a school an hour away. Let's go. And I'm like, I ain't that committed to it. And then he told me about one opening up 4 minutes from my house, and I was like, well, I got to definitely put my money where my mouth is and hop in the ring. And I was blessed to be able to hop in the ring and be trained by Jillian Hall, a phenomenal human and a phenomenal wrestler. And then Bobby Blaze jumped in a few months later, and I got all the Bobby Blaze flavor, and another phenomenal human and a phenomenal wrestler. And the rest is history, man. Now I feel like I have more of a passion and a love for it now than I did as a kid, because I understand it more. I understand what goes into it more now than when I did when I was a kid. And just to backtrack for a minute, when I told my buddy that I could do it, I wasn't wrong. But boy, do I have more of a respect for the people that did it back in the day and the people that I watch do it now than I did before. You have to be a real friggin' athlete, and you have to be real committed, and you have to do your due diligence in the gym and eat right and do the workout, or you're going to look like a fool. And this is a legit business, brother. You know that.
Definitely. It is one of the things that I always had the respect of wrestlers for what they do. But one of the things that really kind of stood out for me is last year I got to go to Dallas and hang out with Brady, and got to see a training class firsthand. And I tell you, the respect, just watching what these guys and girls did, man, I respected them so much more, and it gave me a whole different respect for wrestling in general. And I definitely understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. Jillian, I always told everybody, I tell her, yes, Michael, I did grow my hair out. Yeah, I got a little ponytail. Yeah. Well, that's all right, man. I hope you get what you need out of it. It doesn't do much for me. But I love it. Man, I miss Mikey. God, I miss Mikey. That's my guy. But I tell you what, I tell a lot of the guys now that I help train, I don't know that you'd survive Jillian Hall. And it's not a knock on Jillian. She just, she was trained, Lance Storm, Fit Finley, those guys that were legit, like, tough guys, trained Jillian Hall. And she tried to kill me. I feel like every time I talked to her last night, matter of fact, and I always remind her that she tried to kill me. And she told me, she's like, I didn't think you'd make it. She said, I ain't gonna lie to you. We walked in the door that first night, I thought, he ain't coming back. And here I am, and you can't. I'm not. You're not kicking me out. I'm not gonna lay down. I'm kicking out on two, buddy. I'm not taking that pin. I'm kicking out on two, and I'm sticking around. But Jillian was amazing, and she tried to kill us. And same with Troy. Like, me and Troy, we started Night One together, and Bobby sprinkles, what Bobby calls sprinkles. His flavor of wrestling, man, is just so great to hear. Like, I've learned more from that man in a van or a truck driving down the road than I ever did in the ring. And just to hear him talk and pick that guy's brain and understand the things we're doing, whew, I'm telling you, these two people are unsung heroes in this business. And I tell everybody, Jillian will be a top star in the business today. If she was working she was a prisoner of her own time, but she be a top star right now. And Bobby Blaze, out of the mouth of Buff Bagwell on my podcast said him and Tracy Smothers were the best workers in the room, no matter where they were. And that's a big compliment coming from a guy like Buff and comparing him to a guy like Tracy Smothers, who was, another GOAT in my book. So,
oh yeah, definitely. So being a wrestler, how did you transform being a wrestler to also getting into podcasting?
I don't know if you know this or not, Bear. If anybody's watching that knows me knows I like to talk. I'm a talker boy. You get me talking and it's over. That's why me and Bobby Blaze have 3 and 4 hour conversations, because we gotta get our stuff in, both of us. I'm a talker, so I had this bright idea when I was first started the AOG, the Art of Grappling there, where I trained. We were doing shows, and I went to the owner at the time and said, "Hey, listen, what if we do like a podcast of me just reviewing shows? I like to talk. I can talk. I got the gift for gab, and that's probably the only thing in the wrestling business in the very beginning I was actually good at was being able to hand in a mic and be able to do anything on it." So he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And it started out as just I was going to review our shows. And then it turned into, I'm going to interview people in the business that I don't know, and then interview people in business I do know, and pick the brains of these guys and gals that are amazing on the independent scene. And then Hitting the Ropes was born, man. HDR was born just from, actually behind me is a mic above my head. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a mic above my head. That's the mic that I used when I first started. It was me, a laptop, and that mic. And I just started talking about wrestling, and I started talking to people about wrestling, and Hitting the Ropes was born, man. It was it took off pretty quick, and people wanted to come on and talk to me, and I wanted to talk to them, and it got a little overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's why I've kind of been scarce here recently, because it just got overwhelming. I'm on the road a couple days a week wrestling. I got a shoot that I work 5 days a week. I've got a couple of little brats running around, kids I got to take care of, and I got a family, man. So, it it's a lot, and that,
Oh yeah.
podcasting's a lot, it, brother. So, but yeah, it just took off, man. I get to talk to my brothers and sisters of this business, and promoters, and getting to meet people, and then stumbled across a video on Facebook, some company asking about people wanting to join a podcast, and I submitted the dumbest friggin' video to be reviewed. I don't even know what I did. I don't even remember at this point, Bear. I submitted a video on why I should be a part of WSN, and I don't know who messaged me back from WSN, but within minutes I got a message back, and I think it was Brady. I think Brady's
It
the one that told me to
was.
say
It was.
that. Within minutes I got a message back from Brady, and Brady was like, "Let's talk," and I got welcomed in with open arms to this company and to this place, and it is an amazing family to be a part of, and it's so supportive. And then I got blessed with them picking up HTR and being allowed me to do it here at WSN, and share that with you guys, and you guys share yours with me, and it's just all falling in place. It's honestly one of those stories for me to get into podcasting. It's one of those stories that's like, you start to do something and you're like, man, I hope it kicks off pretty well, because I don't really want to struggle. And you hear those stories occasionally. You hear those stories, like you hear about like Enzo and those guys that got in the business and didn't really do the independent thing for a long time. They just got pushed up to the top, and they never took down a ring. They never really paid their dues. Not because they didn't want to. They were just really talented, and they got there quick. That was what it was for podcasting for me. I don't know why. The right people listened to me. The right people found me, and I got thrown in this family that I'm in now at WSN. And I'm blessed to have the people and the support that I've had over the years with podcasting, and it's been great. I can take these little hiatuses and focus on my family and focus on wrestling, and come back, and my fans and viewers and you guys are all still there, and that's it's freaking amazing. It's awesome.
Definitely, we got your back. Hell, what the last, well, besides last month, the last 2 months, anytime y'all come in my area, I'm right there. And
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, one of the things about me that honestly that drew me to you and watching your stuff, not only do you have the gift of gab, but you're a soothing person. You're not overwhelming, you're not underwhelming. You are a person that I could just talk to. It's like, wow, okay, this guy, he's not selling me fluff or whatever. He sounds like a genuine person that I could have a conversation with. And that means a lot in podcasting.
Hey, well, that's a huge compliment coming from you, Hall of Famer. When I started the podcast, I always kind of prided myself in doing absolutely, I still do this, zero background. Like I don't go and look up matches. I don't go and look up where you trained at. I don't look up jack crap. I don't look up any of that stuff. I sit down and have a real conversation. If I know some of the information, I'll still ask the questions. But I want to learn about you in real time and organically like everyone else is. So I think that's probably the main ingredient to the success of my shows.
And
Um,
and it's funny that you say that because I'm the exact same way. I just rather have that natural feeling because I feel like if I know this stuff, if I try to react, give a fake reaction, people will be able to see through me. And
yeah.
I never want to disappoint
Mhm.
my fans or give a fake reaction.
No, absolutely not. And then the other thing for me was being organic and then truly caring about what the person I brought on the show, what the objective was. My objective has never been to get on here and have everybody is masculine, right, Barry? I'm at like listen, don't well, listen. I do know that 1, 2, 3 equals a W. How's that? That was a fraction and a little bit of lettering in your math there, Mike. Uh, I getting to talk to these people and getting their work and their body of who they are out there was always the one to be organic and let people know who you are. Let's get over together. Let's get out there and get your personality out there, get your gimmick out there, get who you are out there, and let's make sure people know who you are. Um, pulling the curtain back a little bit, the business is about getting everybody over, getting each other over, and I think a lot of times in the business that gets lost. People get jealous and they get hateful and they don't want to help each other, and that's not what this business is about. You listen to any training session and the trainers will say, well, they'll say some stuff that I don't want to say. I don't want to pull the curtain back too far, but you know as well as I do that the business is about the three people in the ring when this is one-on-one match. It's about the referee too. It's about the three in a triple threat. It's about the five in a four fatal four way. It's about everybody that's in the ring. The ring announcer, the referee, the guy pulling the gear to the back, the guy running the music, the guy that put the ring up. It's about all of us, and it's absolutely what we need to do, and that's always been a thing I pride myself in is making sure that people get themselves out there, and I want to have as many people on as I can to get those names out there.
What do you think separates your podcast from other podcasts?
That I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I honestly, it's so organic. Whatever, right off the bat, like I never had the same opening. It's never, hey, wrestling fans, blah blah blah. It's never the same opening. It's like, oh crap, something just broke. We're experiencing technical difficulties, or we're late, or can you hear me? Or it's always something different. It's real. It's absolutely real. It's me sitting in a studio somewhere, or where I'm at now, which is in my studio, but it's in my garage now. Um, and it's real. It's me. It's what's going on. It's 100% uh, just unfiltered Brox, and that's my dog right there in the comments. That's Titan Troy, one of the best, if not the best, technical wrestler in the business. That guy can go. That's my boy right there. Um, he is the heart and soul of grappling. He carries me everywhere. He's got broad shoulders, so he can carry me everywhere. But yeah, it's just that it's real. It's real. Um, I've had producers. I had a great producer help me for a long time that I absolutely loved having on the show, and our chemistry was great. But then crap would break in the middle of the show, and it was just real. It wasn't like, hang on a second, guys, we're experiencing a technical difficulty. We were like, oh crap, and it was just real. It was just it's how your buddies would be if you were sitting around a campfire, playing a guitar or just talking to crap with your boys. That's what my show is. It's what my shows have always been, and I think that's the thing is it's real. It's just unfiltered. Brox is an idiot real is what I think it is.
So I stumbled on your first two podcasts because what I was now I'm being totally honest. I was going to every guest I've had on this appreciation month, I've came up with putting the QR code up. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put your Facebook page up. And I'm like, no, maybe I don't know. Let me. So I went, I went on YouTube and I put in name of your stuff, and lo and behold, your first podcast, your first two came up. I was like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. I am going to watch these and give a report on how I found your first two. Now, it's going to be later on.
Okay.
But
okay. Fair enough. I don't even I remember the first podcast. I'm pretty sure Titan Troy and Sarah Bubbles was on it. Maybe I don't remember. We were just talking wrestling, and then I want to think that my second one was with Joe Pace, and it was just me letting Joe be Joe. And if anybody that knows Joe Pace, you rarely let Joe Pace be Joe Pace because his mind is it's a place you don't want to be trapped in. And I think those are, and I could be completely wrong. Those are at least those are really early anyways. And I let Joe Pace be unfiltered, which was a terrible idea. But I found through the years with some of my favorite guests, Dahlia, the Chainsaw Queen, Dylan McQueen, Chase Stevens, some of the ones I've had on my show, kind of make Joe Pace look like a tame choir boy, because some of those guests have been off the freaking chain. It's Joe Monroe. Oh my gosh, it's definitely not a Timu Brox Boulder. He's his own Joe Monroe. He's his own Joe Monroe. That is not a Timu Brox Boulder. That is a Joe Monroe. I was watching Harder Than Boulder. Brox showed up. Wow. I think you should clear your history, Michael, just in case anybody shows up to want to look at your history, brother. I would close that out if I were you, Bubba. This is not on the Patreon, guys. Just so you know,
yes,
that's not the network. Okay, that's not the network.
That's definitely not the network.
You asked for this, Bear. You asked for this. Listen, that is me and Mikey. I love. There's not a person at WSN that I've not met that I don't love. I've adored every single person I've met, but for whatever reason, Mikey V and I have had this undeniable chemistry since the minute we started. When we started the WSN watch along from night one, I'm going to tell this story. This is the funniest story. And Joe, I love you, but don't lie to the people. We don't do that here. Night one, Bear or Brady and Blade, everybody was really nervous because we hadn't really spoke to each other, the four of us. And I'm talking about, Rusty, myself, Preston, and Mikey. We hadn't really spoke to each other very much, and they wanted kind of a test run, and we didn't get to be able to do that. So they were just like, well, here's the deep end of the pool, boys. Have a good time. And we were all super quiet in the test run. And then the lights come on, and the four of us gelled so well in that first show and the second show and the third show, and it kept getting better. And that was so cool for me. But Mike and I have just, I don't know what it is. That guy gets me. and I get him, and he has a weird sense of humor, and he accepts that I'm an idiot, and I accept him for being the amazing human he is, and we've clicked so well. And then, you know, it just adds to the special place that WSN is. Like, everyone gets along so well. Everyone here is just so supportive of each other. But like, you find those people that you're just like, you know, that you found for life. And then a lot of the guys that I found at WSN and gals at WSN, they're gonna be friends for life, you included. And Mikey's one of those guys. Me and him just clicked since day one. It's so good. It's so good.
It is funny how you will click with somebody just like, oh crap. And that's how I would say me and Joe are. Joe is just such a special person. And when he decided he was going to retire, I was like, I'm going to be there, buddy. I'm going to be there. And it's actually, I was like, no problem. I'm coming.
Yeah. Well,
And
Joe's another one too. Joe for me is another one. Like, there's the joke that goes around that Joe and I look like each other. It's not a joke. It's a bold-faced lie. I'm beautiful and Joe is average. But that's the thing. I can say that. He can say what he said to me earlier, because Joe and I clicked really well too, because you know, we you know, we've never shared the ring together, but we've shared the blood and the sweat and everything that goes with being in a ring as a professional wrestler. So Joe's been one that we clicked really well in the beginning too, and was uber helpful in the beginning for me, transitioning to not knowing crap about WSN as far as like how we do things and the processes and things. He was instrumental in being like, I got you, no matter what you need, I got you. As everybody was, but Joe was just, you know how he is. He's just, he's there for anybody.
yeah,
So I agree. Joe's easy to click with too. There's really hasn't been anybody that hasn't clicked well at WSN. I think everybody gets brought in. They just kind of, they're just from the beginning, they know, you know, we're who we are, and we accept each other for who we are and what we are. And we're dorks. We're wrestling dorks, and that's what we love, and that's what we accept each other for.
I have to tell this story about Joe and his retirement match. It didn't go like I had thought in my mind it should go, and his mother was there, his and family was there, and it's like, okay, they're gonna let him talk, and they didn't.
Oh gosh.
And we literally, I'm sitting there just, I'm mad. I'm like, this is BS. And all of a sudden, his mom came up to me and talked to me, and I could tell she was upset. So I literally wanted to jump over the rail, and start fighting. And then Joe came out, he had his stuff, and he left. I'm like, if Joe's leaving, I'm leaving, because if not, I'm going to literally go to jail up here and kill somebody. And Brox dipped out on my boring story. You see how he does us, people? Brox, I'm joking. He's having an issue. There he is.
Sorry, I don't normally use my phone, but I'm just not getting into my studio, so I use my phone for this. I got a phone call.
Oh,
and,
no problem.
It
No
kicked me out.
problem.
I apologize.
It happens. But what I was saying is, Joe, they wouldn't let Joe talk. His mother came up to me, and you could tell she was upset. So that made me even madder, because I'm like, his family's here. Y'all could at least let him have a few minutes. Yeah. And they didn't. Oh, I kept thinking, if I jump this rail, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. and I'm thinking, most of these guys can legitimately fight. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to really fight. and you know I'm a big boy.
You are. You're a big guy.
So I'm thinking, okay, these wrestlers, they know how to take people down and grapple. I was like, the first one that comes close, hit him with everything I have in me. And maybe that will shock the rest of them to stay the hell away from me. But luckily enough, Joe came out. He had his stuff. Him and his family left. And I was like, F this, let me go before I be disrespectful to people who didn't have anything to do with it. Oh, I was so mad.
Yeah.
You would have thought they did it to me.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is, man. When you get to know these people and you share a lot of hours and screen time and different things with each other, and that's what we do here at WSN. It almost seems personal when things happen to other people. I mean, we talked about it off air a few minutes ago. You know how it is. It just, it feels personal when things like that happen to people that you care about. So, makes a lot of sense.
Definitely. So, who has been your favorite guest on the podcast?
Gosh, man, put me on a spot like that.
You got to know.
I'm going to name drop, and then I'll give you an answer, but I'm going to name drop. I've really enjoyed the crap out of Bobby Blaze being on my show. I don't get to say anything during my show. They're the easiest shows for me. I'm just like, hey, Bobby, and then he starts talking, and then it's over. I don't have to say another word. Chase Stevens has been really fun, just because he does not give a crap about anything that he says. Dahlia Page, whatever you want to call her, that's my sister. I love that woman to death.
Let me say, I'm glad you brought her up. I'm just going to say this real quick. For her gimmick, she is nothing like that at all. She is one of the sweetest young ladies I have met in this business. And what I told her when I first got to talk to her, I'm like, you are not your gimmick. I was like, you are so soft. How in the hell are you so soft spoken and you acting a fool in the ring? God. But yeah, I had to mention that about her.
And she's amazing, and what she's doing is amazing. And I got to meet her and Evil Nate, and they've become family. Her and Evil Nate are our family. They talk about the Saul's family. Those two are my family. Period. That's my brother and that's my sister. But she's fun because she was completely unfiltered and unhinged on every show she's ever been on mine, and she made a lot of people's faces red. Not mine. She tried, but she didn't. And she was fun. Buff Bagwell was really fun. Letting Joe Pace run through his mind was really fun. Jess McCumbers from Route 33 has always been great. Another one of someone I feel like is family. Her and Josh that run Route 33 there in Spencer. She's been fun. I think she's been on my show more than anybody has, because she's amazing. She's full of personality. I want to say my favorite guest I've ever had, and I didn't mention him just now when I was putting everybody else over. Listen, that's a promo. It's promo 101, Bear. You give everybody a little something, but then you take it away because I'm about to give away the big prize here. Right. Dylan McQueen has probably been my favorite guest I've ever had. I've had Dylan McQueen on my show twice, and another person who was completely unhinged and unfiltered, and I was here for it. For anybody who doesn't know who Dylan McQueen is, you're missing the hell out. You are missing out. Dylan McQueen is a phenomenal human, an even better wrestler. Actually, his crown is hanging right here on my studio. He forgot it at a show one time, and I have procured it. And I'm not giving it back to him. I don't care what he says. He knows I had it on one day when he came on my show, and he was like, "Are you wearing my crown?" I was like, "I am wearing your crown." Dylan McQueen's amazing, and so full of personality. One of the best in the business wrestling wise, one of the best in the business personality wise, one of the best in the business as a friggin' human in life. Love Dylan McQueen.
So let me ask you a question. Does Dylan currently have the CCW Tennessee title?
I'm pretty sure he is still carrying that belt. Yes, I'm pretty sure he is.
The main reason why I asked that question, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting my people mixed up. I met Dylan in December. Let me tell you what Dylan did, not for me, but for basically my nephew. This was his first time going to wrestling, and we got ringside seats, and the show ended, and my nephew just got through taking a picture with Silas Mason, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He told my brother, "Hey," and I'm gonna say a word, and I don't mean it in a negative light, but this is what he said. I want to go talk to the gay guy.
Mm-hmm.
So him and my brother went to talk to him, and I went to do something else. I can't remember what, but I didn't walk right with him. By the time I got over there, I heard Dylan telling my nephew, "You can be anything you want to be. You do not let anyone stop you or discourage you from your dream. You make sure you go to school, get an education, and you can be a wrestler." I stood there and was just listening to him because he talked to my nephew damn near 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, man, that was just so nice of you. I'm thinking, man, if you do this with every kid or just fan, you're an amazing person. I told him, I said, man, I know who you are. I've seen you wrestle. I appreciate what you did for my nephew. And he's going to be on my show. But he was just one of the most genuine people. He really impressed me with that.
I'll tell you this, Dylan has a great backstory, and the trials and tribulations. And I'm not gonna put him out there. He can do it, and he will, and he doesn't care to tell it on. He's told him on my show, but he has been through hell, and he has come out better for it. He is an amazing human. I will tell you two of my favorite Dylan McQueen stories. One of them's negative, but it's not negative towards Dylan. We were on a show, and we were in a spot of Kentucky that are not, they're just not fans of people like Dylan.
Right.
They're not fans of that community. And the things I heard people say to Dylan was, I mean, you see it on TV, you hear about it on TV, and you hear about the just the negative things that people say about people who aren't exactly the same as you or not the same color as you, and you know what I'm talking about. Just
Yeah.
the bigotry and the crap, the racist crap that we go through with some of these idiots in our society is ridiculous. It's just asinine. It's just the dumbest thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my life. But Dylan handled it with so much class and sass, and I say it that way because Dylan McQueen is the sassiest thing that I've ever met, next to my 9-year-old daughter. Miss Bay Boulder, which is what she proudly calls herself, is the sassiest, one of the sassiest things there. But Dylan McQueen, I'm telling you, I heard somebody yell out something to Dylan as he walked by that was so derogatory, and Dylan turned around and said, "Yep." He kept right on walking with a smile on his face. And I was at my merch table, and he was walking to the merch table next to mine. I could not wait for him to get next to me so I could talk to him and tell him how amazing I thought he was. And then we were on our podcast, and on my podcast, and he had said I'm not gonna call you Brox. And I said, "What are you gonna call me?" And he said, "You don't remember what I called you at the locker room last time we saw?" And we just saw each other the week before in a locker room. And I said, I don't remember. I'm sorry. And he said, "Well, from now on, you will now forever be called Baby Daddy. That's what I'm going to call you from now on." And that's what that man has called me. That's what Dylan McQueen has called me since I can remember, as Baby Daddy. And he does his damnedest to make my face red on shows. And it is some of the funnest shows I've ever been a part of, because he like I said, and when I do my shows, I want them to be genuine, and I want them to be organic, and I want them to be real. And he is the realest human one of the realest humans I've ever met in my life, and has a great backstory, has a great attitude about life, has some of the hardest tribulations that he's overcome in his life, and people need to know who he is because he is a friggin' star. He's a star in life. He's a star as a human, but he's also a star when he puts on wrestling gear and gets in the middle of in between ropes. He's a star in everything he does. Absolutely phenomenal human.
He definitely impressed me, not only with what he did with and for my nephew, but seeing his ability, I was super impressed, and understand why he is gonna be that guy.
He is.
He has that ability. He is gonna be that next guy.
There's nothing holding that guy back. He is driven. He is hardworking. He's trained right. Dr. Tom Pritchard, I think, is where he trained at. He trained with Dr. Tom Pritchard. And some of the best people I've ever worked in the ring were Dr. Tom. They were trained with at JPW, and like the Kazanas. I can't say enough about those big bully assholes, but I love working them. I love working them. They're my favorite people to work. Me and Troy love working those guys in the wrestling ring. Those guys are great. Heat Seekers or a couple other guys, and the Runway, if you've ever heard of them, I think they're based out of Pittsburgh, but they're amazing. I love the Runway. Stew Crew, the Stew Crew are amazing. Stew Crew's amazing. Listen,
I owe them. I owe them big time. I told them I was going to have them on my show. It's just a matter of me catching up with them. They are hilarious.
I love
them.
I love them, and all these people are you know, they're, for me, they're even more fun in a locker room, and that's all I'm going to say. Like it's just the funnest. You know, we done a show in Waverly, Ohio, not long ago, back in November, as a fundraiser for the YMCA there in Waverly, Pike County, Ohio. And we partnered with another day abilities program. I'm probably butchering the name there, and I apologize. But we partnered with them and ran a show there, and was able to raise a lot of money for a really great cause. And but I had booked AJ and Casey for that show, and AJ got stuck on a set. He was filming something, he got stuck, and he couldn't come. But Casey still showed up, and we ran a match together. Me and Troy against Casey and another guy, and those guys. I will tell you this, and I know you're going to appreciate this probably more than anybody I'll ever tell this to. When I got in this business, I did not see myself ever being a tag team wrestler. In training, when we first started, I've always been an athlete. I've played sports my whole life: football, baseball, basketball. And anytime I walked into a place I'd never been in before, I found the best person in the room, and I buddied up with that person because I knew that person would push me harder than I would push myself, because I wanted to be better than them. And that's what I'd strive to do. And I'd done that my first night in training, and I stumbled across Titan Troy, and I could just see the kid was different. He was better at everything. You know, he come from shoot wrestling background. He's athletic as heck. And I found Titan, and I went down another road at first. I had a couple matches with another guy in the very beginning of the Grappling Inc. And then that guy left or went. I don't know what happened to him. And then me and Titan Troy hooked up as a tag team. And so I back up to say I never saw myself as a tag team wrestler. Now here I am this many years in, and Grappling Inc. is who we are. And I proudly say that with a lot of hard work. We are who we are. And I don't see myself as being anything more. I can work singles. Had some really great singles matches and multi-man matches, but tag team specialist is what we and Troy are, and I can't see myself doing being anything better than what we are right now. Because it's been so fun. Tag team wrestling is so much fun. For me, it's gosh, there's so much more it's so much more to it. There's so many more variables to it. So there's so much more you have to do, so much more you have to know. The psychology and it's just it's great all the way across the board. Oh my gosh, Larry. Love Larry. Larry's amazing. Do you know Larry Bear?
I don't think so.
That's Megaphone Larry. I met Megaphone Larry in Spencer, West Virginia, and he had a megaphone, and he said some outlandish stuff. He has a whiteboard too that he writes on, and he holds signs up in this, and they're so funny. And we was at a Route 33 show one time, and he handed me the megaphone, and I told him, I said, "You are ignorant. Why would anybody give me? Why would anyone give me a megaphone?" And Larry gave me a megaphone, and it was dumb, but I did. I took it and ran with it, buddy. I did not care. I got on a chair and I danced and sung and everything. I did. I you know me, you see me at wrestling shows, Bear. Troy and I are really goofy until it's not time to be goofy. We're silly. We want to have fun, but when it's time to get to business, we can work the business.
Definitely.
But Larry gave me a megaphone one time. And then I'll tell you this about Larry. He I think he told me he lives like 2 hours away from Spencer, West Virginia, which is where he would travel to watch wrestling. Well, Spencer's about 2.5 hours from me. So when I travel there, it's about 2.5 hours for me. So Larry drove to Ashland, Kentucky not long ago to watch a show that I done, that I put together, and paid me a huge compliment. I'll keep it between he and I, but he paid me a huge compliment on that show. And coming from a guy like Larry who drove 4 hours to watch it, who come to watch, Titan, myself, Smarty Marks, the referee, who's amazing, to pay a compliment to me like he did. That's what you do these shows for. It's what you do these matches for. It's what you do in this business for, is to have fans come up and tell you the things he told me. And Larry, I'm a fan of Larry for the rest of my life. He can be a Brox Boulder fan if he wants to, but I will always be a Brox Boulder. I'll always be a Larry fan. Megaphone Larry. I'll always be a Megaphone Larry fan.
So now here's the big question.
Uh-oh.
Who would you love to interview, dead or alive, would be the ultimate interview for you?
Wow, man, that's a huge question. Listen, I was not trained in any kind of public speaking. I took a public speaking class in college, and I hated it. But I didn't listen to anything, so I'm going to tell you I was never trained in public speaking. But I know how to deflect. I know how to give multiple answers, because it's just who I am. But when you ask that question, a ton of names come to mind. My very first one would be, I've always been a Stone Cold Steve Austin mark. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. He is the reason I love wrestling. So yeah, Stone Cold will be there. You want to pick the brains of guys, of just the greats that's been in this business. You want to sit down with Jim Cornette. You want to sit down with Bobby the Brain Heenan. You'd want to sit down with, just the great minds of this business. You want to sit down and talk to those. But if I had the one person that said, all right, dead or alive, you get them on hitting the ropes. And I'm going to tell you one thing, baby, who it would be. It would be that doggone Dusty Rhodes, baby, because that man was a genius. He was a son of a plumber. He was one of the best entertainers in the business, and that man had it. That man was ahead of his time. That man was ahead of his time when the time caught up. That man's mind was the best wrestling mind I've ever seen. And I'm going to tell you why, Bear. I got me fired up now, boy. Let me tell you why. Because the WWE put that man in polka dot singlet to embarrass his ass when they brought him back. And that man got it over, Bear. He got it over. He turned it into a gimmick that people loved. And they were trying to embarrass his ass. And Dusty Rhodes said, pay me my money, baby. And I'm going to watch me make you all kinds of money. And that's what he did. That's what he did. And that's why I love Dusty Rhodes, because he did not let people hold him back. He did not look like Hulk Hogan. He did not look like Lex Luger. He did not look like these guys. but he was one of the best to ever lace up a pair of friggin' boots.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's why I would say I want to interview that guy, because that's the brain I want to pick. Because I don't look like Lex Luger. I don't look like Hulk Hogan. I don't look like half these guys that are lacing up their boots. They're all jacked, beautiful specimens of humans. But that's not me. And it wasn't Dusty Rhodes. And I'm no Dusty Rhodes. That man had more wrestling talent in his big toe than I'll ever have in my whole body. But that man gives people like me hope to know that you can go out there and you can do anything you want to do in a wrestling ring, and they can try to hold you down, but you can just laugh all the way to the bank and cash them checks and watch these people cheer for you, because the hell with them. You do what you do and do what you want to. And Dusty Rhodes is a shining example of that.
I wholeheartedly agree with the assessment. I'm going to tell you my Dusty Rhodes story.
Ooh, you got Dusty Rhodes story. I like it.
So, me and some friends, we went to the NWA Fan Fest in Charlotte, North Carolina. And one of the names on there was the American Dream, baby. So I'm psyched. You can't tell me nothing. I'm in line. I'm gonna get the Stone to Big Stardust. I'm one guy behind. Oh, I'm excited. That guy moved. I walked up. Dusty turned his back on me.
Oh gosh.
I was like, what? He was talking to his manager.
Yeah.
And I must have got a really pissy look on my face. Because I was just, it was like getting slapped in the face. He turned his back on me. So his manager saw the look on my face, so he bumped Dusty. Dusty turned back around and shook my hand. All I'm thinking in my head is, why, Dusty? Why?
Why, Dusty?
So for a whole year, I was on the Fuck Dusty Rhodes tour. I didn't care. I didn't want to hear about Dusty. I didn't want to watch him. Me and Dusty were through. Then one day I'm sitting there watching wrestling like I usually do, and Dusty came out. And in my mind was like, I could hear Dusty talking to me. You know, baby, you know I didn't mean to do that to you, baby. You know the dream. Go ahead and put your hands out with my hands, baby, and touch the American dream. And you know that wasn't meant. I was like, yes, it's me tripping, Dusty. Can I come home? Can I come back home?
That's on me. Yeah.
It was so to the point where I legitimately almost started crying. I was so hurt.
That's funny. That's great. Yeah. I've always heard, don't meet your heroes, because you never know how it's going to turn out. But listen, that turned out great. Actually, that turns out great.
So between Dusty doing that to me, Bret Hart being an ass, and making Jim Cornette spit out his drink, I had a great time.
Yeah, hell yeah. Listen, it's a good lineup there. And minus the Bret Hart thing, but whatever. It's so funny, man. You hear about these guys, and you hear about how they act or how they didn't act, and Bret Hart is who Bret Hart is. He has said the things he said, whatever. Beautiful Bobby Eaton is another good choice, Larry. That is a real good choice. But I've always had this really weird outlook on sports in general, and I'm counting wrestling as a sport. And if you think I'm wrong, come visit me in the ring. That's for anybody. But I've had this really weird outlook on sports and the people who play them and get paid good money or any money to do them. me included. I get paid on a weekly basis to go wrestle. The people chose to pull themselves away from their lives to come watch you play basketball, come watch you play football, come watch you play basketball, come watch you wrestle. And they decided to use their hard-earned money to do that. Kobe Bryant said it. Michael Jordan said it. They didn't sit games out because there might be a kid in the nosebleeds that stayed for a whole year. And they didn't take nights off because if that kid comes to see Kobe or comes to see Michael and they weren't playing, they were going to be heartbroken. So they didn't take nights off. Those are the mentalities that people need to have. And I don't see, there are too many, I think, I'm going to get to my point, I promise. I went a long way to get here. I think there's too many athletes, professional athletes, and even in our sport, that forget that we're here competing, sure, for championships, competing to compete, but the lifeblood of what we do is for the people that come and watch us. And I think that some of these older wrestlers, these legends, sometimes forget that. And it's hard. They've been in the limelight for years, and it gets annoying to walk through an airport and not be able to get to your flight because somebody wants an autograph, and that's tough. I'm sure. I have no doubts that's tough. But ask them how many nights they went home and there's no one there, and there's no one to talk to, and how they felt those nights. Would they trade those nights for the airports and the meals that got interrupted by the fans that loved them? I'm sure they would. So when you get those attitudes like Brett has a little bit, it irks me. It drives me a little bit crazy.
I agree with you, but here's another way I look at things too. We as fans, a lot of times we forget that athletes are just human. And as exciting as we are to meet someone, we need to know time and place and to have some courtesy.
Sure.
Again, I get it. I met Kane and I was starstruck, but I was at my job. I had a job to do. I did my job, didn't fanboy out like I wanted to because I recognized it was a Tuesday and he was on the West Coast earlier. So he had to fly all the way back home, and he's now shopping for his little girl's birthday. And it's like, man, as much as I want to, hey, how did you do this and why this and this? Like, no, hey, I'm glad to meet you. I didn't, oh man, you're Kane. I just, yes, sir, can I help you? And I was being professional.
Sure.
And I'm saying all that just to say, be aware of your surroundings and what people are doing. If they're with their family, have the common courtesy to leave them alone. I mean, I get it. It's certain people I would love to talk to, but there's time and place for everything. And
Sure.
then you never know what a person is going through when you are going all psycho on them. Sometimes, like one of my one that I was really ticked off at was Greg the Hammer Valentine. Me and my buddy were on the elevator. He got on, and I was like, "Oh man, this is Greg the Hammer Valentine," and he was like, "Oh great, more wrestling fans," and it pissed me off.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what he was going through. Maybe he had something going on. And not that I bugged him, I just said that to my friend. But again, I don't know what he was going through. So
Right.
I have to, again, sometimes we have to calm down and let stuff go. That's not that serious. If I met him today, I would never bring up that story unless he was a jerk again. Then I would go all bare on him.
Yeah, for sure. Like, oh God, look, another wrestler.
So My final question to you is, what would you tell a person if they asked your opinion on doing a podcast? What would you tell them?
Be genuine. Be genuine in what you're doing. Care about what the person's saying when you ask a question. Be attentive to them. Uh, don't don't make it rehearsed. Have a human conversation with them. There's so many things in this world that could have been avoided with a human conversation. Some tragedies we've had in our history, and some people that, I mean, as small as just knowing someone and then not talking to that person anymore could have been avoided with just a simple conversation. Have a conversation with that person, and I will guarantee you, because it worked for me. It wasn't even my point. It wasn't my objective to be like, all right, well, I'm going to do it this way because no one does it that way. That's not what it was. It was being raised in a Southern Baptist church with a grandma that said, when someone's talking, you shut the hell up and listen, or I'm going to smack the shit out of you. Or, be respectful when people are speaking. Don't interrupt them, blah, blah, blah. Things like that. So be genuine. Care about what people got to say. Care about your guests. Care about what their objective is. And it'll take you as far as you want to go in podcasting. And if I can I end that with something really cool,
Of
Bear?
course.
So for years, Bobby Blaze, who everyone knows, I like the guy. He's okay. He's not one of my favorite people. No, I'm just kidding. He is actually probably my favorite human. Bobby Blaze had a podcast called Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze for years, and had a ton of, I mean, it just great views, great wrestling content. We are not going to do that podcast, but I am going to tell everybody that Bobby Blaze and I are going to start a podcast together very soon, where he will be the talent because that's who he is, and I'll be the idiot because that's who I am. And he and I are going to do a podcast together and get to talk to some people and get to hear some Bobby Blaze stories. And he wants to get back into it, and he called me and said, "Let's do it." And you don't turn down opportunities when Bobby Blaze say, "Let's do something." So I'm going to do it, and um, I haven't asked anyone yet here at the network. I don't think it's going to be an issue if we do it here on WSN. I don't think it'll be an issue at all.
Nah.
But that's our plan. We're going to do a podcast. Bobby Blaze and I are going to do a podcast, and just continue on with what we do, what I did on Hitting the Ropes and everything, and just talk wrestling and talk to people about wrestling. And he's got all kinds of cool ideas I'm really excited about. So me and Bobby are going to do a podcast and make a series out of it. I think it's going to be really fun.
Man, I'm looking forward to it.
Love to have you on. Actually, it'd be really great.
Oh, only thing you got to tell me is the date.
I know, and I will as soon as we figure everything out. We iron out some details now, but we're just of course I've got some other things I'm ironing out too. So, and just got a lot of things going on right now, Bear. Just trying to a lot of fires in the irons in the fire. Man, I messed that up. Irons in the fire, but that fire gonna burn hot once it all catches.
Of course, because you are the driving force behind it.
I appreciate that,
As
sir.
I always love to do, you know that I love giving people their flowers. You know, I believe in people need to hear it, feel it, because a lot of times when people get recognized, they're dead and gone. And it's not fair for them not to get to enjoy their flowers. Um, Ever since I've met you, you've been nothing but genuine and kind. Uh, when I can, I come support you. You are just an amazing person. I'm so glad that you're a part of WSN, and most importantly, I'm glad to call you a friend. So I definitely want you to have your flowers and enjoy them. And I know 2026 is going to be a great year for you. and you have a lot of great things up and coming, and I definitely hope and pray for your success, and anything I can do to help with that, you got me.
I know that, and then that means a lot coming from you, Bear. I, uh, I can't imagine going through this journey without the people that are in my life to do it, and the support system that I have from the littlest fan that I high five going to the ring to all the way up to Titan, who is just there. Period. No matter what it is. And there's a lot of great people in between, and I've got to know a lot of great people in this business, and wrestling has brought me some of the greatest friends I'll have in my life, you included, and people here at WSN. So, but to hear that from you means the world, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate what you're doing here, and I appreciate you keeping our business and our love alive in your voice and in what you do. Thank you.
It's no problem, man. I'm just, like I said, I'm stoked about everything. So, man, appreciate you coming on, and
Anytime.
we're gonna keep doing magic. So,
That's what we do. That's what we
yes.
do.
So, guys, girls, thank you so very much for joining me around the campfire for another great story. Um, this is again, I'm legitimately having so much fun talking to so many great podcasters and just picking their brain. And this is what this month is meant for, to celebrate all of these different wrestling podcasters. So thank you for joining me with that. And before I go, the thing I always try to preach is make sure you support your local wrestling. I will not stop saying that, because you never know who you would meet in their journey in wrestling. You get to actually talk to the wrestlers, get to have interactions with them. You save money. You can go there and get shirts, autograph. It is just a great family fun activity that will have great memories to last a lifetime. So please do that and go support your local indie wrestling. With
Heck
that
yeah.
being said, thank you for joining me around the campfire for another great episode. I am Professor Burr. This has been the Burr's Thought, and we will see you again around the campfire very, very soon. Y'all have a great evening.